Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are doing absolutely well. So, we are at AriserTalent and we were discussing about the class 10th chemistry chapter number 1, that is chemical reactions and equation. So, until now we have discussed many type of reactions, and in our last lecture we have learned about how to calculate the oxidation number of any compound, because oxidation number will help us to balance the reactions in various forms. Now we are on about the last topics of our chapter, that is what are the effects of oxidation in our daily life and how to balance the redox reaction. So our today's topic is what are the effects of oxidation in our daily life. So we are with our next topic, that is effects of oxidation in daily life. So before starting this topic, I just want to explain you a very simple thing. What is it? That we all know that oxygen is required for every process of the life. For the survival of human being, for respiration, the most essential element is oxygen. But we can live without water and food for several days, but we can't live without oxygen for a single moment. It means oxygen is very essential for a reaction to accomplish, and that reactions are basically known as oxidation reaction, because the oxidation will take place only in presence of oxidation. So our first reaction will be combustion reaction, because the basic element here is oxygen. So oxygen is a life sustaining substance. So important substance for a life will be the oxygen, and the oxidation process will only occur if oxygen is present. So oxidation will occur in presence of oxygen. Now students, we are dealing with the first aspect of oxidation, that what is its role in case of the process of the combustion. So we are on our first topic, that is combustion. Have you ever heard about combustion? What actually the combustion is? Combustion is basically a process in which something reacts in the presence of oxygen and heat is evolved out from a substance. So combustion is basically a phenomena in which oxygen is added to a substance and heat is evolved in a reaction to provide a certain form of energy. So what is combustion? It is the process in which substance combines with oxygen and heat is evolved out. So what happens in case of the combustion reaction? Substance basically combines with oxygen and there will be the evolution of heat in the process. So it is the basic phenomena of combustion. Now we will understand the combustion with the help of an example. So we have an example in this category. Suppose we are provided with a methane, CH4. Methane is the basic component of a gas that is called natural gas. Example, we have methane. We are reacting methane with oxygen. What we will get in the product side? We will get carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Energy may be in the form of the heat energy. So what will be the general reaction for this kind of equation? This is the basic equation for the combustion of methane. And what is methane? Methane is a essential element of the natural gas. It is the essential element of natural gas. Now, what will be its reaction in the reaction form? For the methane, we have CH4. We are reacting methane with oxygen. So, what we will get in the product side? We will get CO2 plus 2H2O plus energy or heat. So, students, you can observe here when methane is reacted with oxygen, carbon dioxide and water are produced with the evolution of heat or energy in the reaction. It means the heat or the energy that is produced in the process of the combustion is used for further processes. So, this is the basic reaction for the combustion of methane. Now, what will happen if we are provided with certain organic substances like fuel, biogas and many form of wood, charcoal, etc. If we burn them, the heat is produced. So, these substances are burned basically in the presence of oxygen and the heat is evolved out. So, we can count it in the category of combustion. So, this is the exothermic process because heat is generally given out in the reaction. Now, we are on our second example. Our second example is combustion of butane. Butane is basically the component of LPG. LPG cylinders that we used in our kitchens, the basic component for it will be the butane, and the butane is actually the C4H10. Butane is component of LPG. LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. So now we will learn about the combustion of butane and observe that what will be the products when the butane is oxidized or butane is sustained to the condition of combustion. So for the butane we have a formula C4H10. I am reacting it with oxygen. What I will get in the product side? CO2 plus water plus energy. Now we see that the equation is not balanced here. We are provided with 10 atoms of hydrogen. So what we have to do? We have to put 5 here. Now oxygen 5 plus 2, 7, and here oxygen are remaining only with 2. So what we will do here for balancing oxygen, I am substituting 6 over here. Now oxygen are getting 12, 5 plus 2, 7. So we have to balance the equation by substituting 5 here. So now carbon are provided with only 4. So we have to make the carbon atom only 4. So I am substituting 4 here. So it means carbons are balanced. Hydrogen are 10. 5 into 2 hydrogen are 10. Oxygen we have provided with 12. Here 4 into 2 8 and 8 plus 5 13. So we are with the maximum of 1 oxygen. So we have to balance this oxygen atom. So for balancing this oxygen atom, what we are doing here? We are putting 2 here. Now this will be 8 and 2 into 4 8 carbon atoms, and we are provided with 2 into 10 20 carbon atoms. So for balancing it, I am putting 10 over here. So this is the equation of combustion of butane, and what we are basically getting in this equation, we are again getting carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. So this is the general equation for the combustion of butane. In this way, if any substance is sustained to the condition of combustion, the basic products are carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now, from this scenario, what we have observed that the reaction is generally exothermic. Exothermic reactions are those reactions in which the energy or heat is basically given out. So this energy is used for further processes. Now, if I'm considering a human body is actually like a machine. So what happens in the human body? The basic process of combustion will take place. What actually happens? The food we eat contain carbohydrates. This carbohydrates will be in the form of glucose, fructose, maltose, etc. When oxygen react with these substances, the food get oxidized in our body, that is a machine, and produce energy. This energy will help us to sustain many processes, but we cannot always say that combustion is a process in which heat is evolved, because the energy produced in our body help us to do the many physical processes. Now we will understand the combustion in case of our human body, but before proceeding this, you can copy it from here. Now we are on our next topic. Combustion in human body. So in case of combustion in the human body, what actually happens? The food we eat, our food contains carbohydrates. The food we eat basically contains carbohydrates, and these carbohydrates are in the form of glucose, fructose, etc. Now this glucose, fructose will react with oxygen. These substances will react with oxygen, and what they are produce? They are going to produce energy. So this is the basic process of oxidation that take place in the human body. The food we eat actually contains carbohydrates. These carbohydrates contain the major components, that is glucose and fructose. This glucose and fructose react with oxygen to produce energy, and this energy will be taken by the organs of body to accomplish any physical process. So this actually happens in the case of oxidation of the oxygen in the human body. But what we have observed in this combustion reaction, there is no evolution of the heat. So we can say that combustion is a process in which a substance react with oxygen, get oxidized, and what it is going to produce? It is going to produce energy in a substance. So it is all about the combustion, that is the effect of oxidation in our daily life. Now we are proceeding to our next topic, that is respiration. So our second topic will be respiration. So all of you have already heard about respiration. So respiration is actually the biological process in which the biochemical reactions take place in our body. What happens in this case? The food we eat get oxidized into our body, and the oxygen reaches to the lungs through a small structure that is called air sacs, that is in the form of the alveoli. This oxygen will occupy the surface and enters into the cell of the body. Here the oxygen get reacted with the blood in our body. The component that is present in the blood is basically known as hemoglobin and provide us energy. Now what we are left after the oxidation? We are left only with carbon dioxide and water. So this carbon dioxide and water will be evolved out or liberated out from the body in case of the second process of the phenomena, that is called respiration. So what happens in case of the respiration? It is a biochemical reaction. In this biochemical reaction, we have air sacs. These air sacs are called alveoli. These structure will take the oxygen from the environment. Oxygen will be taken by these alveoli structures. Now, these air sacs will occupy a larger area on the surface. So, next point is they occupy larger area. Now, this oxygen will be taken by these alveoli structures and then transmitted to the blood. What is the main component of blood here? We have the main component of blood, that is hemoglobin. Blood, hemoglobin react with oxygen. Now what happens when this hemoglobin react with oxygen? We are provided with energy. Now we can see here the component react with oxygen and energy is produced. So we can say that this type of reaction is actually the combustion reaction. So oxidation occurs here, and oxidation is basically the combustion in which substance react with oxygen to give out the energy. This energy is used by our body, like our brain, our muscles, for doing the many physical activities. So this energy will be utilized, and the remaining of the products, the remaining products are actually the carbon dioxide and water, and these products will be liberated out from body. So this is actually what happens in the case of the respiration. The cells will take the oxygen for performing their different functions and provide energy to the body. This is the actual phenomena of respiration, and what we have observed, this process is basically the exothermic reactions. So these are the main points of the respiration which occur in the human body. So students, this question is very important from your exam point of view. What happens in case of respiration in the body, or why we are considering respiration is an exothermic process. So this will be the answer of this question, and this will be the important question. Now we have discussed about the various beneficial effects of oxidation. Now we are proceeding to our next topic, that what are the harmful effects of oxidation. So our next topic is harmful effects of oxidation. So the beneficial effects of oxidation will be the combustion and respiration. Now we are dealing with the harmful effects of oxidation. We have the three effects in this category. So our first effect is pollution. Our second effect is corrosion, and our third effect is rancidity. So every process that will occur will have some good effects and some bad effects also. So these are the harmful effects of oxidation. Our first topic is pollution, second one is corrosion, and third one is rancidity. Now we will deal with these three type of the reactions one by one. So we are proceeding with our first topic, that is pollution. I guess you all have heard about the pollution. What actually the pollution is? Pollution is actually the presence of unwanted substances or gases in the environment which may be harmful to us. So this is considered in the main category of the pollution. And the main gases which produce pollution are carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides of nitrogen, and many more gases. These are actually the harmful gases which are produced by oxidation and harm our environment. So the gases which are harmful for us are carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and the third one is oxides of nitrogen. Now these are the harmful gases which causes the pollution, and these are basically produced after the oxidation reaction. So these are eliminated from the various sources like the factories, chimneys, industries, and also the vehicles producing this type of pollution. So these are the basic substances that are produced after the oxidation and have a very harmful effect on our health. So these are the main component of the pollution, and these are basically formed by the oxidation reaction. So it may cause pollution here. Now we are on our second category, that is corrosion. Have you heard about corrosion? I have already discussed that when iron is exposed to the moist air or water, we can see that we will get a flaky, that is non-sticky layer on the surface of the iron, that is of the brown color. So corrosion is a basic process of slow eating of any metal, that the metal is restricted to that state that it cannot be used for the further process. So we will learn about the corrosion in our next category. This is also important question from your board exam point of view, that what is corrosion and what is rancidity. So now firstly we are dealing with corrosion. So our second topic is corrosion. Corrosion is actually the slow eating of any metal in the presence of certain gases or components. So what is corrosion? It is a process of slow eating of metal in presence of damp air. So this is all about the corrosion, that it is the slowly eating of any metal, that all the properties of the metal are restricted in this type of the reactions. Now what happens in case of the corrosion? Firstly, I am considering about the corrosion of iron. So our first topic is corrosion of iron. What happens in case of the corrosion of iron? We will get a flaky. Flaky means non-sticky. This non-sticky layer will be deposited on the surface of the iron and it will be of the brown color. This flaky layer deposited on surface, and what is it? It is will be in brown in color. So this layer will be deposited in the form of the rust, and we can say that it is the process of corrosion or rusting of iron. So what happens in this case? I am writing the reaction over here. Look at here, we can see that for iron we have a symbol Fe. This Fe comes in contact with moist air, so we can say that it reacts with O2 and moisture, that is H2O. Now what we will get in the product side? We will get Fe2O3 dot XH2O. Now for balancing this equation, I am putting 13/2 here. So we will get the balance equation and 2 over here because Fe is provided with 2. So this is the basic equation for the corrosion. It means rusting of iron. This is iron, this is moist air, and this is water. From above this equation, what we will get in the product side? We get hydrated ferric oxide, and hydrated ferric oxide is actually the rust. The name of this component is hydrated ferric oxide, and this hydrated ferric oxide is basically known as rust. And this is the non-sticky flaky layer on the surface of the iron. So this will be the general equation for rusting of iron. Now this rusting cannot occur only in case of oxygen or certain form of the metal like iron. It may occur in many form of metal. So we are on the second example of this category, that is rusting of, we can say, copper, turning of copper of greenish color into a certain form of the substance. So we are on our next topic. Corrosion in case of copper. So our second example will be corrosion of copper. We can see here we are provided with copper, and copper will react with moist air. In the moist air we are provided with carbon dioxide and water vapors. On reacting Cu, CO2 and H2O, what we will get in the product side? We will get copper carbonate dot CuOH whole twice, that is copper oxide. So this will be copper. This I am concluding as moist air, and this will be our copper carbonate oxide, hydroxide. So what we have observed in this case, copper is basically having a tone between, that is called gold and silver. It is of the color that is copper. Copper have a metallic luster, and what happens when it react with the moist air, it will convert it into a green color substance. So copper will lose its luster and convert it into this green color substance, which is of no use. It means a green color coating will be established on the surface of the copper. So we can say that the copper metal is completely destroyed or losing its properties. So it will be the case of the corrosion of copper. Similar things can occur in case of the silver. If I am reacting silver with any of the component, it will lose its appearance, that is shiny, and turns into the dull. It means there will be the again destruction of the metal. So our third example will be of the silver. So we are on our third example. Our third example will be effect on silver. Now what happens in case of the silver? We have also a one pollutant component in our environment, that is hydrogen sulfide. So silver is having a formula Ag. It get react with H2S and it will form AgS plus H2. Ag is for silver, H2S is for hydrogen sulfide, and what it is going to form? It is forming silver sulfide and hydrogen. So what happens in this case? The silver is having a silvery lustrous appearance, has turned into a dull black color. This is silver. Silver is having a silvery shine appearance, and when it reacts with hydrogen sulfide, AgS is formed. This silver sulfide will be in dull black color. It will be in dull black appearance. So we can say that the metal is losing its properties. So this effect of metal is on the metals will be of the corrosion, and corrosion will slowly destroy the metals. So we have discussed about the effect of corrosion on iron, copper and silver. Now we will learn about how to overcome these effects of corrosion. It means methods of preventing corrosion. I hope this topic has been clear to you. So we can proceed to our next topic. So students, we can see that rusting is a very serious problem, and slowly it will eat the complete iron object and it weakens the strength of the iron. We have many things made up of the iron in our day-to-day life. We can see iron bridges, steel bridges, iron compartment. In railway, we see that the bodies of the many of the machines and tools are made up of the iron. So lot of the expenditure is done by the government for renovating these iron objects. So we can see that rusting is a very serious problem. Now we will learn about the methods of prevention of corrosion or rusting. So in method of the prevention of the rusting, we are basically three methods. Our first method is by painting. Second process is by oiling. And the third method is by galvanizing. So these are actually the three processes by which we can prevent the rusting of the iron, which is a very big issue. So by painting, by oiling, or by galvanizing. So we will deal with our first type, what will be done in case of the painting. In case of the painting, we can say that we have many objects that are made of the iron, like iron pillars, iron gates, windows, steel railings, etc. So these must be painted to avoid the contact with the damp air, because the painting will protect the direct reaction of oxygen and water with that of the surface of the iron. So painting can be done on steel railings, windows, railway compartments, because to that of the painting surface, the iron will not get react with oxygen and water. Our next topic is by oiling. Oiling in case of the machinery parts, we can see that many of the machine tools and parts are made up of the iron. So we can paint this or oil these substances to prevent the corrosion of irons. So by oiling machine tools and parts. Now our last topic of preventing the rusting of iron will be the galvanization. Galvanizing basically means coating a layer of zinc on the surface of the iron so that moisture and oxygen will not react with it and prevent the rusting of iron. So galvanizing is basically a process of coating a layer of zinc on surface of metal. So coating will be done of the layer of the zinc on the surface of the metal, so there will be no exposure of oxygen and water with the surface of the metal. So these are the three basic methods in which we can stop the corrosion to a certain extent, so it will not weaken our bridges, our many systems like railways or machinery parts that we use in our day-to-day life. So these can be the basic methods adopted so the corrosion can be stopped. So this lecture is over for today. We will deal with our next topic, that is density, in our next lecture. Thank you so much and have a nice day.